the NFL Offseason Podcast with me, your host, Louis Debe, and I'm filled with a room full of a hero, Dave Kress. What up, boy?
Hey, boss. Thanks for having me.
Sure. Today, we're going to dive into the free agency period of the NFL offseason.
Hang on. So, as I was doodling here on this board, I drew a triangle, but actually a really good idea popped in my head.
What?
What is the NFL calendar? Or not the calendar, the pyramid. Position-wise.
Pyramid.
Who is ranked the highest among positions? And who...
So are we going little
at the
triangle is the top?
No, I'll show you.
Or like the bottom, like the grain? Is that like the
like here.
cube?
There's grouping.
Right.
The best positions are at the top. The worst ones are at the bottom.
Okay.
So how's it go?
I would say the top is obviously quarterback.
Yeah. But then, who's at the bottom? Offensive lineman.
And why are you hating on the offensive linemen? They're a big part.
If you're like, yo, I can't wait to go to the Bills game and watch some Eric Wood, am I right?
Yeah, but who else? Okay, what about this?
I think that Doug
I
Legursky's
can't wait to
gonna
go
be a
see
bust.
Casey Hampton and the Pittsburgh Steelers.
That's
defensive
different.
tackle.
Eric Wood's the star of the. Oh, good point. But at least he has exciting plays. Oh man, look at that block right there by.
If you
Andy
watch some
Levitre.
athletic offensive tackles, they're pretty exciting.
Look at him go up the field and push him.
Okay, second.
Running backs. Are
Running
they?
backs?
Receivers. They're
I feel
flashy.
like running backs are slowly diminishing. Like there's no one left.
Running backs are flat. Or receivers are flashy. And you know who I think's up there? Cornerbacks and safeties.
Okay.
Secondary.
So let's put receivers second. Let's put safeties, corners third.
Linebacker.
Linebackers, yeah. Pass rushers.
Pass rusher, right? Yeah.
That's
But
in
we all
there.
know offensive linemen are at the bottom, especially centers.
Yeah, centers.
No.
No, guards.
Guards, yeah.
Who wants to be a right guard? Hey guys, I'm a right guard. Gross.
Nobody
interviewed a right
tries
guard.
to be a right guard, but if you're a big guy and you end up doing that, but no one strives to be a right guard.
Would you rather be a right guard or a fullback?
fullback? Everyone who doesn't like a fullback? Am I right?
Rhinoceros. That's the only fullback
Yeah,
I can think of. That's
Frank the
actually
Tank.
Oh, the Coleman, the deaf guy from Seattle.
Yes, Frank the
Frank
Tank. Summers. Yeah,
Summers.
of the Bills.
That guy was.
The only reason people
well,
like the Rhinoceros is because of his dance and his nickname.
Yeah, the fullback is a dinosaur when it comes to the NFL positions. All right, are we done with this pyramid?
If you can agree that offensive linemen are at the bottom.
Fine, offensive lineman. Wait, what about kickers and punters?
Oh,
They're at the bottom.
honestly, I think
There's
I'd rather be a kicker.
left-
I'd rather be a kicker.
Then a left tackle?
Yes.
I'd rather be a left tackle.
No, you wouldn't.
Kickers don't
You're
do
300
jack.
pounds.
And then everyone is like, you have to do this one play. You haven't been doing jack. So pretty much if you miss, you're useless.
Yeah,
They're not
but
even football players. They're
They are
soccer
football
players
players.
that weren't good enough to play soccer. But they
that's
can
not
kick far.
true. Here's what they do.
It's like for Pat McAfee. The guy's a boss.
Yeah, he's a scumbag too.
He hit Drew Holiday, the little guy.
He's a free agent, by the way.
Drew Holiday?
Wait,
He had a
Drew
bad-
Holiday's a point guard.
Oh my
Trendon
god, I
Holiday.
always do this. Trendon Holiday?
Yes.
He had a bad
Oh yeah,
year,
he's
though.
done. He's done with the Broncos.
Yeah, I don't know where he's gonna end up.
But back to this. If I was getting paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to kick a ball,
What? Oh,
or instead of being 300 pounds, every nonstop plays having other 300-pound people running at you, and you have to stop them. Sounds terrible.
I'm gonna take a shot at Brendan
Okay.
Harrington. I'd pay him $100,000 not to talk.
Oh, same.
I was just thinking because I was like, what are they paying you for? I would pay Brendan not to talk. So okay, it's kind of a little side shot.
Would you rather be offensive lineman starting in the NFL or an analyst for NFL Network?
Analyst.
All right, how about this?
You could already see I've already retired as a
point.
organized football player.
Yeah,
My days as an all-star wide receiver and corner, they're over.
yeah, that
After
one
the
year.
modified days.
That 1 year. And
Hey, it was a great ride, and I ended on a high note.
yeah, hang up the cleats for good.
Hang up the cleats.
All right,
Okay, you want to dive into some free agency? I always say dive in, and that kind of pisses me off because I can't stop saying it.
dive in.
Let's jump.
Yeah.
For joy with some
No,
free
no, no, no,
agency.
no, please don't. Don't say that.
Let's
Start.
That's still boring. Okay.
All right, so some headlines.
Let's
for
get
that.
free with free agency.
Okay.
We're going to talk some free
Okay.
agency, like I just said, in a different term. Let's go best team. Actually, first, let's start with some updates, actually. Chad Henne and Matt Castle, two quarterbacks that were placeholders for the Minnesota Vikings and the Jacksonville Jaguars, will be sticking with their former teams, as Matt Castle signed a deal with the Vikings. Don't know the extent of that deal, but I do know Chad Henne signed a 2-year deal with the Jaguars. Dave, before we get into free agency,
You almost said it.
I know. Does this mean that Jacksonville will not be taking a quarterback at 3, or is this just we need a backup?
I don't know because, well, what Gus Bradley said is that Henne will be the starter going into OTAs.
Yeah, I don't know why he came out and said that in March. That's kind of premature.
Yeah, I know. But I do recall like a month ago, their GM or whoever, someone high in their
David
organization,
Caldwell, maybe.
said that they will be taking a quarterback, maybe 2 in this draft.
Yeah, he did say that. So, oh, yeah, Shad Khan, their mustache.
Yeah.
That guy's got a sick mustache. He-
But the Jags didn't what Gus Bradley didn't say that he's going to be the starter going into the season. He said going into OTA. So that's actually
yeah, true.
a big hint that they're going to take a guy. actually.
Caldwell was at a couple of Bridgewater's games, so you never know. But I don't know. I kind of feel like he's going to go. He used to work for the Seattle Seahawks as he was their defensive coordinator. I think he's going to go in that route where he's going to build up that defense and maybe take a guy like they took Russell Wilson in the 3rd round. Maybe they take a Jimmy Garoppolo in the 2nd round. Or maybe they take a chance on a big arm guy like Zach Meckenberger in the later rounds. Or I heard from a friend that maybe Aaron Murray is a potential fit there.
He's gross.
Yeah, I don't like it either. I also heard Aaron Murray potentially the Bengals, but I don't really want to talk about Murray. But I think,
It's funny how
yeah,
if Andy Dalton won that playoff game against the
he's
Chargers,
the franchise guy.
he's
Yeah,
like
everyone's
there.
talking
No one
about.
talks about him taking a quarterback.
Well, he's failed miserably, and because of him, they have lost 3 playoff games in a row in the first round. Even though I kind of partially blame Marvin Lewis too, because even before when Carson Palmer was their starter, they lost to Pittsburgh in the first round. When Pittsburgh went on to win the Super Bowl against Seattle in 2005, they lost in the first round to the Jets a couple of years later. So they have not won a playoff game in God knows when. I don't even know. It's almost been as long as the Bills. No. I think it's been since like I thought there was since the time they made the Super Bowl against the 49ers. I think they have like 1 playoff win since the Icky Shuffle, which by the way is the worst celebration I've ever seen, just strutting side to side. But there's our quick little punch about the Jaguars, which we'll of course be talking about them a lot more. I mean, even last show we got heated with Brendan about where the Jags and Browns are going to go. We could not get him to like budge at all about the Jaguars. So
He's Brendan. He's a scumbag.
you know, if he's listening to this, he's probably just like flipping out, like get me in there. He's gonna be like, please. That's not even a question.
Who said that? That was the I don't know.
It was on another podcast, but
Yes,
I
it
don't
was.
know which one.
But it was a player. I think it was Terry Newman.
Terry Newman. Man, he's shot. Okay. Another update, real quick. Running back Darren Sproles of the New Orleans Saints.
No. Running back question mark.
Offensive weapon Darren Sproles has been released by the New Orleans Saints. He now will be able to sign with the team. Dave, where is a potential fit for Darren Sproles? As he's really, obviously you can't bring him in as your focal point at running back or the offense, so he's going to need to go to a place with already a backfield that needs some speed and talent.
That's a good point. Well, I would say Denver, but we already know they have Monty Ball who can catch out of the backfield. That's a good question, actually, because, I'm not a huge fan of Sproles, other than his fantasy implications,
True.
which I drafted him in the 2nd round last year over Reggie Bush, so he's a pretty big scumbag to me. But, how could I? Could have been if I had Reggie Bush instead of him.
Yeah.
That
I
could
mean,
have been
if Sproles, though, I think it was if Sproles didn't get hurt, he was battling injuries the entire year. If Sproles didn't get hurt, though, he would have been fine. I think
But
he
he
would have been a
wasn't
good
fine.
running back. Well, yeah, obviously.
He's not a running back. He has more receiving. He has.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, he has more yards
Oh,
and receptions.
no, he has triple the amount of. He has like 700 receiving yards. He has like 200 rushing.
Yeah, he's not a running back, but he's too small to be he's an offensive weapon. But I think maybe even Denver, because to me, I don't think I'm quoting a man from NFL Network by the names of Henry. Who don't
Handsome
know his
Hank?
Handsome Hank from NFL's Dave Damashek's football program. He said he made an interesting point that they don't know if Moreno oddly odds are will not be back in Denver, so they're going to be looking to add someone else because yes, Monty Ball's going to be their guy, but I don't know how good he is enough to. There's not many teams in the NFL besides like the Eagles and Vikings that have a one running back system, and even they don't. You see Bryce Brown rotating in a lot for the Eagles. So they might maybe want to get an electric guy. They were hoping Ronnie Hillman was going to be this third down back that would be a big time receiver for Peyton Manning. Maybe Sproles is a good fit there. I think
I don't
maybe.
really like Sproles that much.
No,
as a
I don't
player.
either. I'm not a big fan of him because I mean he's you can't name him to a specific position. So it's just kind of you need to be able to use him. I think I've already even seen people on Twitter saying how Chip Kelly would love this guy. Chip Kelly doesn't love every guy that's small and fast.
He's fast, so Chip
That's
Kelly
what
would
angers
like
me.
him.
Oh my gosh. So I mean, I don't know where else really that
Maybe?
Sproles would fit. I
How
mean,
about
he
this?
fit perfectly in New Orleans. Just New Orleans didn't have any other running backs to carry the load, so he had to, which is why he got hurt. Except for he didn't carry the load running wise. They just didn't run the football.
How about this? So, the Cleveland Browns happen to be a hot topic amongst this podcast.
Sadly,
But say they did this.
I hate that we have to defend to the death the Cleveland Browns. I'm not even that big of a fan.
Well,
I'm not a fan.
yeah.
I'm a critical thinker about Brennan. Oh, whatever.
Well, I'm about to go get real critical with you.
Okay.
Say they do this. They go out and they sign Darren Sproles. Then they go into the draft with their 2 first-round picks and draft Sammy Watkins.
Yeah.
Then with their late pick in the first round, they get Derek Carr. So now their team is Derek Carr, Darren Sproles, Josh Gordon, Sammy
Ooh, Sproles
Watkins,
of Cleveland. Yeah. I
and
like
Jordan
that.
Cameron. And they have a good offensive
Oh,
lineman.
that team's a player.
And they
I know.
franchise tagged Alex Mack.
And if they find a way to hang on to one of their if they don't sign T.J. Ward, maybe go get Bird.
Unfortunately, but yes. So they don't really have a running back. So they go out and get another free agent or draft a big guy.
Or yeah, like Hyde or Kadeem
Rec-
Carey. Whoever.
Receivers aren't going to be, or running backs aren't going to be going off the board.
No.
So you just get another guy. I don't see the problem with that is.
They could just go sign 2 running backs in free agency. They can go sign Ben Tate and Darren Sproles, and boom, there's your backfield.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think Cleveland's a step away. I think they're a quarterback and a running back away from being a pretty good team, not great team. I'm kind of concerned about the whole Alex Mack, and if they lose 2 key players for that team that were really good last year, difference makers, and that might hurt them. And also, quick little cool thing I heard around the NFL today is that David Carr would like to make an
Yeah.
NFL return and back up his brother, Derek Carr. Is this a possibility at all?
Depends where Derek Carr goes.
True, but I don't think David Carr is good enough to be. I don't think people are gonna be like, "Hey, he's his brother, so let's get him on the team."
Oh,
No. Okay, let's go sign Cooper Manning to be Eli's backup,
Cooper Manning is,
a high school basketball player.
and he doesn't have a leg.
Is that true?
I don't know. He had some leg thing that put it out of his career, and he was a receiver anyway.
Ugh, yuck. Another thing about
He would have been an awful receiver, I can just tell.
I got a bone to pick with Archie Manning. Everyone thinks he's so good and he made the Hall of Fame. He had 21 more interceptions in his career than he did touchdowns. But because he played for the Saints and he was somewhat good, they put him in the Hall of Fame. That just kind of, obviously I'm not old enough to know anything about Archie Manning watching him play, but I know for a fact that having that many more interceptions is not good.
No.
See Geno Smith for my reference.
Geno Smith is way worse than Archie Manning.
True. But Geno Smith has also got some good upside. Look what he did against Atlanta last year when he made that comeback. If I were the Jets, and this is a good segue right into our
They had
quarterbacks,
fluke. That was a fluke.
we're going to talk about Michael Vick.
No.
His key
he
spot
pushed
is
him
New
out of
York
bounds.
because of Geno Smith.
He got
But
pushed.
That was the first game. That was against Tampa Bay. Atlanta, he drives down the field with 2 minutes left to put them in field goal position. That game they won. He also made. It was a close game with the Bills. and the Vikings
Atlanta.
that they won.
They had 3 wins.
Yeah, but they were still 2-2 at the time. They were both 2-2.
They had 3 wins
He
of the
also beat
year.
the Saints. What about that? Geno Smith beat the Saints. Read
Yeah.
option. Here, a quick fantasy nugget. There was only 3 other quarterbacks that scored had more 20-point games in fantasy than Geno Smith. I think he might be good. I think he might be
You
better than
think
EJ
that
Manuel.
Geno Smith is good, although you took a shot at him earlier. And he's not better than EJ Manuel, because EJ Manuel was injured.
Well, that's not good.
1 year.
I'm not
lingering
gonna say.
injury.
Okay, fine. How about this? Hold on. Okay, Carson Palmer is not. No, that's gross.
Carson
Michael
Palmer's
Vick is
36
always
years
hurt.
old. Yeah, but
That's
Michael
why
Vick
he
is
doesn't.
also washed up.
Okay, yeah, but EJ Manuel's had 3 knee injuries in a year.
Yeah, but it's the same knee lingering.
True. That would be bad if it was both knees. But anyway, so yeah, that brings it right to Michael Vick. The Vikings star running back Adrian Peterson talked about Michael Vick yesterday on Twitter, saying that he would make the Vikings instantly a playoff team. Do you think that he would be best fitted in Minnesota? Is there a possibility of him going there next week, or do you think still New York is the main landing spot for Michael Vick?
Well, they just signed Matt Castle, so.
Right. So that scratches
Yeah,
that
I don't
idea.
think he's gonna go there.
I think he's going to New York still. I think Mark Sanchez is going to be gone, and they have no one else. You're not keeping Matt Sims as your backup quarterback. I think Michael Vick's going to come in there, push Geno Smith, and he's good enough to upend Geno Smith for right now. Geno Smith was too raw last year to be thrown into the Jets' fire. That was the New York Jets.
I hate the Jets.
That's because you're a Bills fan. So that's
Jets
reasonable.
are just such a joke of a team.
So do you, pity them?
I don't pity
I
them.
can't hate, well, no. I hate the Cowboys like poison. But, I don't want,
Yeah,
no,
but the
I'm not
Cowboys
making
are
a reference outside of the
Cowboys
NFL.
are so good. They should be so
Okay,
good.
if you're the Indianapolis Colts, I don't know why I said it like that. You can't hate the Jaguars because you're in the division. You pity them. You're like, aw, there's that team in the AFC South that sucks. So, I'm just saying, there's no one in the NFC East for me that I can't hate because they're all potentially good. But if I were you, I would kind of pity the Jets because
I
they
don't
suck.
pity the Jets. They beat the Bills last year.
True, but I don't know who's in the better position this year to succeed, the Bills or Jets.
Bills. They have EJ
Right.
Manuel.
Exactly. Oh, well, I don't know if that's why, but
Best running back duo in the league.
okay,
Good young with a lot of potential in the receiving core.
right. Yeah, you're probably. Yeah,
Led the league in sacks last year.
they did. They have Mikal Roby. I like
Yes.
him. I want the Eagles to get Bradley Roby from Ohio State
Are they
because of
brothers?
what I saw from Roby.
Are they brothers or something?
So, yeah, Michael Vick to me is going to be around the Jets. The Jaguars signed Chad Henne, so that scratches them. Honestly, he has one spot where he can be a starter, and I know I've heard rumors about Oakland, but I think they want to address it more in the draft. And I heard the Bills maybe is a potential landing spot, but I don't know. I think they might go in a different direction backup wise, unless they honestly think Manuel is in the future, like our friend of the show. I don't know if you can say he's a friend. Brendan Harrington said on last podcast. So, moving on from Vic,
By
let's
the way-
talk about one other quarterback other than Michael Vick. Who's the next best quarterback available in free agency if you're committed to taking your quarterback in free agency?
Josh McCown.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not very good.
Yeah, this is a thin mint.
Especially with Thin
I hate
Mint.
thin mints.
I love Thin Mints.
They're like those Nilla cookies. They're so plain.
Yeah, but it's good.
I hate thin mints.
You get the chocolate. Like it's
I
like
like the peanut butter Girl Scout cookies. Apparently, it's Girl Scout cookie season, so
yeah, it is.
gotta give me some peanut butter ones.
No, not the peanut butter. The Thin Mints.
You know what I feel bad for?
What?
The Boy Scouts.
Yeah, I know.
What do they get?
They sell popcorn.
Nothing. Yeah.
Popcorn.
They sell these odd, no-name brand popcorn
No, they sell half-ass
Okay, yeah.
popcorn.
with weird flavors too. Like I bought buffalo wing popcorn from Boy Scouts because I have a cousin that is a little Boy Scout, and it tastes like garbage, like absolute garbage.
Oh yeah.
How do we get from because
No,
we were
but
talking
anyway,
about the quarterbacks.
Thin Mints are. I mean, like,
No one likes mint with chocolate. That's disgusting.
are you kidding me?
Mint.
Everyone has mint
Who
with.
chews? Okay, I'm gonna chew some mint gum while eating my chocolate bar. That's disgusting.
You ever heard of chocolate covered mint?
Ugh.
You've never had that?
Memento? Wait, I don't
No.
know.
So there's this restaurant I go to,
Okay.
and when you're done with it, they bring you a plate with some mints. And chocolate covered.
Oh, is it the Olive Garden?
No, it's the Lancaster Country Club.
Oh, okay.
But
Fancy.
but that's not my point. I'm saying chocolate and mint goes good, unlike the
Chocolate.
Jets in winning.
Oh, that's good.
Next player.
Next player, Matt Schaub. Does he have a future as a
Okay.
starter anymore after his one terrible
Yes.
year?
He was a playoff quarterback.
Yeah.
One bad year. The Texans fans are such scumbags. He got hurt, and the fans started cheering. That's so scummy.
But it was like one section of the fans. They were the rowdy drunk ones, probably. I kind of I feel like you might see Matt Schaub in a Cleveland Browns uniform.
No.
I don't know. They might. They might go get him.
That would be awful.
Actually, no. I take that back because I forgot about Brian Hoyer. I keep forgetting about Hoyer. I think they're definitely drafting someone, so never mind. I don't know where Matt Schaub's going to end up. The most disgusting place he can land up is New York. The Jets. I see the reason why I don't think it's gross for Vic is because the offensive coordinator there, Marty Morningway, was the offensive coordinator for the Eagles when Vic was there, and he had that successful 2010 year. They ended up departing on a bad note, of course, in 2011, but I don't know where Matt Schaub's going to be. I think Josh McCown's going to end up sticking in Chicago because I think the only reason he succeeded was because of how well Mark Trestman coached that offense. And to me, he's a 37-year-old veteran backup quarterback, journeyman quarterback, who you cannot. I mean, I don't.
Josh or Luke? Who do you like better?
Josh, I can't stand Luke. He's the backup for St. Louis. I mean, for New Orleans now for Drew Brees. He's the McCowns. That's not a good last name for the NFL.
Why?
It's not successful.
I know it's a good last name.
There's just two gross quarterbacks.
I know it's a good last name for the NFL.
What, Smith?
I was gonna say Johnson.
No, oh, yeah.
Who's the best
obvious
Johnson?
one.
Who's the best Johnson?
Josh Johnson, backup for the Cincinnati Bengals.
All right, moving on.
Okay.
That is awful.
Let's talk about running backs now. Running back is maybe one of the deepest positions in free agency this year. Some young guys with some potential high ceilings that have been injured in Darren McFadden, a proven veteran running back that's looking for his first big payday in Maurice Jones-Drew, and then a young guy that really has not been given a chance due to injuries and because of just better players on their team, Ben Tate. Out of these three, and maybe someone else that you may like too that is in this market, which one is the most impactful running back, and which teams do you think will make a splash in free agency getting a running back this season?
I will take none of the above.
Okay, who is your choice?
No Sean Moreno.
Oh my gosh, I forgot about him.
The reason why
embarrassing.
is because he's
Oh
an all
yeah, no doubt.
he's an
Moreno.
all-around
Yeah,
back. He
yeah.
can receive and he can run. And I can see him going to New York Giants. David
Yeah,
Wilson is a bust, and Andre Brown's a free agent. Bring in No Sean Moreno, and they could finally get a good running back ever since Bradshaw and Jacobs left. And not the old Jacobs when they brought him back. The good one when they won the Super Bowl in 2007. That year.
I've become infatuated with Cleveland. I feel like Moreno would be a great fit there too.
Yeah,
I feel like a lot of these running backs would be good there, but a place that I think he's going to end up is Oakland.
No,
I think they're going to part ways from McFadden, and I think they're going to go no Sean Moreno. I think they're going to get a quarterback in the draft. I think the Raiders, they have so many positions that they have to fill. So but
Here's
they gotta
what
start
Cleveland
somewhere.
does.
What does Cleveland do?
Trade down to about 6 through 10, a pick there. Then
Yeah, okay.
they get themselves another second, and they draft Justin Gilbert in the first round. Now you have Joe Hayden and Justin Gilbert,
Yeah, true.
and then you go out and get Derek Carr, and then you get another one of those deep receivers because it's a very deep receiving class.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good one. I like Moreno to Oakland. I think Cleveland's gonna. No, I think Cleveland's. I hear that they like Ben Tate a lot. I'm gonna stick with Ben Tate going there. I like Ben Tate. I thought he was productive every time Arian Foster went down. Ben Tate seemed to produce, but he kind of has that little injury bug too. But the one that's just would actually be a productive player if he would just stay healthy is Darren McFadden. The guy was a stud in Arkansas coming out of college. He got drafted into Oakland. He had a pretty good rookie year and just never stayed healthy again. He would always come in and out. He would be in product, but he's a big-bodied running back. So I don't know. I kind of like McFadden, but what about MGD? I see him landing with either Miami or the Giants. I think he's going to either the Dolphins or the Giants. I think I like MJD to Miami. I think they need a guy next to Lamar Miller, who was not that impressive last year. They cannot commit to Lamar Miller heading into next year in the OTAs.
Yeah, I think that's a good decision. All right, do you have any other free agents you
Yeah,
want to talk about?
we're just gonna we're gonna wrap the free agent frenzy up with safeties. We could talk receivers, but I think we both know that. Well, actually, no. I like Decker to the Colts. I think he's a situational receiver that some offenses will fit his need more than others, and I think Hakeem Nicks is going to Carolina. He's from there. They desperately need receivers, as Brandon LaFell and Ted Ginn are both going to be free agents, and they don't seem committed to keeping Steve Smith on their roster anymore. I like the fit of Hakeem Nicks to the Panthers. So let's talk some safeties. I just threw in my punch about Hakeem Nicks. You're clearly, we've talked about this before, you're linked to the Buffalo Bills heavily, and you know better than anyone how good of a player Jairus Byrd is, but the headlines over the past couple weeks is if he could stay in Buffalo, he turned down their 3-year deal that was apparently a substantial offer,
30 mil.
and the Bills will not tag him. How much, how good of a chance do the Bills have of re-signing Byrd, and if he does not go back to Buffalo, where will he go?
Slim chance. In my opinion, they just re-signed another safety, Aaron Williams, who was a converted corner. They got a few years ago, and I like him. Played good last year. He had to go back to corner because of the injured secondary, but he still wants the Bills to re-sign Byrd. I don't see it happening, but if it can, that'd be amazing. 'Cause in my opinion, he's the best safety in the league.
I'm praying he signs with Philadelphia, but I think Chicago is a place that he can go. I think that they are clearing up some cap space to maybe get an impactful safety because they really haven't had a big time safety. They've always had good cornerbacks, but I've never really known of a big impactful Bears safety. So there is another option, and also maybe joining his former defensive coordinator Mike Pettin in Cleveland if they lose T.J. Ward. So, and that's perfect. We'll talk right about Ward. Ward or Bird? Who's the better safety?
Byrd is the best safety in the league.
Yeah, I agree actually, but I like Ward too. He kind of reminds me of Cam Chancellor. He's a big bodied safety that a lot of time plays up as a fifth linebacker and is used in run gapping, closing up run gaps. And
Although you don't see Jay Byrd miss a tackle.
oh no, I'm not saying he does. I'm just saying Ward is a big bodied player too, but he's just not as proven as Bird, which is why. And Bird's only 27. He's in his prime, but I just don't know how happy I would be thrilled with giving that much money to a safety. I don't know if what you do, but the draft's got some pretty good safeties this year. But if you're a team like Philadelphia or Chicago, I don't know if you want to take a risk of not getting those safeties in the draft and maybe just go and pay for one of these guys. Another guy is Dante Whitner, who's also a free agent that
Dante
people don't
Hittner?
talk. Dante Hittner, that people really don't talk a lot about. He's another guy that might not get paid as much, but maybe he'll make the same impact.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't think he's gonna be as
I,
good.
f- I feel like he was feeding off of how well that 49ers defense
Yeah,
was.
and he's
Because he
getting-
wasn't that great in Buffalo.
And he's getting old too.
Right. So, Bird and Ward are the two guys with the most promise in the free agency mark. But, hey, it's going to be fun next week seeing there's some big name players in this free agency period that are going to be going to different teams. Not everyone's going to be re signing.
Yeah.
So, it's going to be fun. So, that's going to wrap it up for today's NFL offseason podcast. Free agent preview. We will be back next week recapping the free agent frenzy, all the news about who signed where and all that hoopla, and then we'll get back into the NFL draft. So that's going to do it. Make sure to follow me on Twitter at DB Sports Talk. Subscribe.